Good afternoon. I am Jerry Maynard. I am the pastor of Cathedral of Praise Church in Nashville, Tennessee. I am a bishop in the Church of God in Christ, where I have 46 churches under me. I am a father. I am a grandfather, and I am a great grandfather. And I'm thankful to be alive. I am thankful that I am a citizen of the United States of America. And I love my country. I've had opportunity to visit many countries, different continents, but I love my country. I love the United States of America. I'm appreciative of its Constitution. I am appreciative of its opportunities. However, at this moment, I have a problem that's very difficult for me to accept. That problem is what's going on in this great nation of ours. We have had situations in times past that were terrible. I felt that over the years, things would get better. I've been around for more than 80 years, and I felt that things would get better. And to be quite candid with you, in certain aspects, we are much better. We're doing things that we should be doing, and we're acting in ways that we ought to act. But we have a real serious problem. And that problem that we have is that people are able to go and purchase guns at will, take those same guns and shoot people at will. I understand that guns by themselves don't fire. Guns by themselves are not evil. I understand that people are. I understand where they come from. And guns that are in the wrong hands are not good. I understand that. But in Buffalo, New York, we had those people who were killed. They were targeted in Buffalo in an area that was predominantly black. Recently, we had people who were killed, 19 in Texas. Um, we have, I don't know if they were Hispanic, Latino. All I know is they were killed, and they were killed by guns that were purchased by someone. And when you look at the guns that were utilized, you wonder how did that person, 18 years of age, receive guns like that to kill? What is disturbing to me is not only the fact that there are people who are able to get guns at will, but something that was said the other day by a U.S. senator. He said something about guns, and then he goes on to say thugs, mentally deficient people are the ones who are doing the killing, when he knows that it's not altogether the truth. People who are not thugs, people who are not mentally deficient, have killed people, some of whom killed them because of their ideology, what they think about people, people of color. He himself is an immigrant, and his family came to the United States of America and thusly became citizens of the United States of America. And yet, in some of his responses to questions, he has a tendency to ignore the fact that he was an immigrant, and he's trying to work toward the denial of other immigrants coming to these great United States. My point again is this: America cannot afford this kind of hypocrisy. We're not talking about Republicans and Democrats. We're talking about people who have some sensitivity toward the greatest nation in the world, the United States of America. How do we maintain it? We don't do it through divisive means. We can ill afford the luxury of dividing our nation further. Anytime anybody, because of racism and a supremacist attitude, will come into an area and shoot people, that's learned behavior. They've heard it from somebody. They have seen it done, not only in Texas and in New York, but across the United States of America. We have seen this happen over and over and over again. I heard a preacher preaching the other day, quite disturbing. He said to the congregation over which he has oversight that every Democrat in the United States is going to hell. And he said that that kind of attitude coming from a man of God is something that we can ill afford. We cannot afford it. The immediate past president of the United States says that there are good and bad on both sides. Well, I'm not going to argue that point, but I would say this: if they're good and bad on both sides, we need to lean toward the good on either side and come against the bad on both sides. That's what we need to do. We need to make sure that people understand that in the United States of America, we're not going to accept and we're not going to allow persons who have certain prejudices to come against those of us who are United States citizens. We're going to stand up for those things which are proper. We're going to stand up for those things that are right. We're going to address ourselves to an inclusive society and not an exclusive society. We're not going to let people who are candidates for positions in the government, whether it be in the House of Representatives or the Senate or the President of the United States, to bring about the kind of rhetoric that we have been hearing, and then allow them to serve us in the U.S. Senate and the House of Representatives, in the governor's office, in the mayor's office, in city councils, in legislative bodies, that we're not going to do that. We're going to stand up for that which is right. And what makes us very strong, it's our diversity that's made us strong. It's who we are collectively that's made us strong. I remember them talking about Einstein coming from Germany and how brilliant he was. Think about it. He came from Germany. Many people have come to the United States and brought with them synergy. Many of them have come to the United States and brought a lot with them when they came. And we need to look at what has been brought by our diversity. We don't have to be just alike. We don't have to look alike. We don't have to have the same color. We don't have to have the same amount of education in order for this nation to be great. Slaves helped to build this country uh, on the backs when they were not allowed to read and not taught how to write, but yet they knew how to work, and they worked extremely hard to help build this country. Many people from other ethnicity, other countries have come over here doing the same thing, helping to build the United States of America in our school systems, in our government, in industry, and in business. And we can ill afford this nonsense that's taken place in our country, and particularly we who are of the house of God, we who are preachers, we who are bishops. We need to do the best that we possibly can to help turn things and change things. Whether we're in an all white church, an all black church, all Hispanic church, Asian church, or whatever kind of church that we're in with regard to its population, we have to understand that there's one God, there's one faith, and there's one baptism. We may have different ways that we serve him. We may have different ways that we express ourselves about him. But this is the United States of America. This is the united, not the separated States of America. This is the United States of America with one Constitution. One of the problems that we have, we continue to deal with the interpretation of the Constitution. There are things that don't need to be interpreted, they need to be adhered to because we hold these truths to be self evident. We hold the truths. You know what? All men are born, all men are equal. And we have to bring that. Stop teaching our children things that we ought not teach them. It's learned behavior. Stop telling children that it's white is right, black is bad, brown is bad. We need to stop that. We need to start teaching. It's great to be a part of the United States of America, and all of us here together make it what it's supposed to be. At one time, they used to call it a melting pot, that when you came to the United States of America, you would lose your identity. I'm not saying that we have to lose our identity. We can be a pressure cooker where all of us who are in the pot continue to be who we are, but we bring our synergy together and make America what it is. I don't have to try to make my skin white, and you don't have to try to make yours brown or black. We can be who we are and yet enjoy the things of the United States of America that's offered to us. When I think about the richest people in the United States, some of whom parents came over here from other countries. They were not born here. Then I think also as we go down the line, we start seeing now blacks who are uh, billionaires. We never thought that would be. We see them as we go down the line, and we see Asians, we see Indians, other people of other ethnicity and nations who have come to the United States and have done extremely well. Why not keep it the way that it is? Why destroy a great nation through the idiotic thinking that we have relative to where people ought to be? We are not. We are not a nation that needs to divide itself because of some political thinking and because somebody wants to become reelected. I understand the National Rifle Association. I understand that. I understand they give a lot of money to many of the members of House and members of the Senate. I understand that, not just Republicans, but Democrats as well. But when will we allow a campaign contribution to have more value to it than we do the life of individuals, particularly kids? Those children, 6 years of age up to 10 years of age, are dead because of irresponsibility. Not just of that young man, but of those who could change things. But they refuse to because they don't want to lose any money to go into their campaign funds. What? What a terrible thought for the United States of America, the land of the free and the home of the brave. What a terrible thought that we would accept money for our campaigns and allow lives to be taken from us because somebody heard something online and they decided it would do something similar to what they heard. God forbid that we should continue in this nonsense. Yes, we pray. And yes, we need to pray. Yes, we need to have a solemn assembly. But more than that, we need to have people in Congress who are responsible. We have in the state of Tennessee just recently passed by the leaders of our legislative bodies, authored, I believe, by the governor, the right to bear arms wherever you are. I'm going to tell you, whether it's right or wrong, we need to make sure that guns fall into the right hands. We need to do that. If we are dealing with elections and we got all kinds of laws that we're passing so that people may vote or may not vote, depending, if we can do that and be excited about doing that, we can also have legislation that will require people who have those kinds of guns to be a select few and not given the opportunity to anyone who wants to go in and purchase those kind of guns. I believe that something needs to be done and done quickly. Also, I want to say, in Buffalo, the young man who killed them, I saw where he was able to be handcuffed, put in a squad car, and taken somewhere where he could say, after killing those people, shooting those people, he could say that he would make a plea, and that would be that he's not guilty. I'm not guilty. He killed him, but he could say that he was not guilty. My question is this, and please hear me, hear my heart. What if he were black and had killed those people? Would he have had an opportunity to go before a judge and say he's not guilty after killing those kids and the old women? I don't know. I'm not saying that he would have or would not have, but I'm just asking the question. I know the person in Texas who killed, he's not, and I don't know if he's Hispanic or Latino or what, but I know he's not alive today. What a waste. What a waste. What a waste. What a waste. America, 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 America. Let's wake up. Let's wake up to truth. One thing we cannot do, we cannot legislate love. America is in absentia of love, but we cannot legislate love. It's impossible to legislate love. But one thing we can do, we can show respect, we can show accountability. We can do that. Without question, we can do that. And in my opinion is that's what we ought to be doing. Without question, that's what we ought to be doing. We ought to be showing love. We ought to be showing respect, not just for others, but for ourselves equally as well. And we should not allow anybody, it matters not who he or she may be, to have the opportunity to take upon themselves anything that would end the life of others, particularly when it's not provoked. Those kids couldn't help themselves. Those teachers stood up and tried to protect the students that they had. They went to school, they went to college, learned the particulars of education so they could teach kids. And today, their families don't have them. And then we sit back and we tell people that don't worry about the guns. That's what we tell them because thugs have the guns. Everybody who has shot people in the manner in which they have done is not a thug. They've been taught, and we need to do some teaching and preaching in our pulpits. We need to do teaching so that things could be better than what they are. Jerry Maynard, are you against guns? Of course not. Of course not. I think guns should be sold. Yes. Do you have one? No. Guns should be sold. They should be. People should be, manufacturers, they should be able to do that. But people who have them ought to be responsible and accountable. That's what should happen. That's what should happen. And I know that there are those who have the authority, opportunity to make it happen. The question is, what do we do as I get ready to close? We have a lot of people who are saying, call for prayer. I do believe that the fervent, effectual prayer of a righteous person availeth much. I do believe that with all my heart. But sometimes you got to get off your knees and you have to do something else. You need to talk to your legislator, both in Congress and in your respective states, and let them know that you're tired and you want them to do something. We need to teach in our church assemblies and in our schools, and although they don't want it taught in school, but you need to teach that this whole thing of racism, and it makes a difference whether I'm against whites and whites against, it doesn't make any difference which is. It's wrong. It's wrong. And we need to teach against it. We need to have persons, if they are mentally ill, unstable, we need to have a place. And I know what Ronald Reagan did. He closed all of those institutions. And people are in the street now, under bridges. Yes, in churches, neighborhoods. I understand all of that. But we have to rethink where we are, where we should be, what we should do. The pill alone is not enough. Getting high off of a pill, that's not enough. Something that we need to do beyond that. Teaching, training, consultation, bringing people to where they need to be, standing up for truth, truth with power. Let people know that these kinds of things cannot continue. Good people saying nothing contributes to the cause of that which is bad. We have to do better. We have to do better. We're in Congress, may not. Someone said the other day that uh, it's of such that it cannot be. But let me tell you something. The Republicans are not the only one who will support guns and the least amount of legislation for that. So let's not do that. It's beyond that. I understand they're the voice at this point. I understand that. But don't ever feel that the ills of our society rest in the hearts of just one group of people. The ills of our society are widespread. The question is, what are we going to do about it? And I say you need to talk to people because it's not good enough for them to come to you when they're seeking office and tell you all the grand things that they're going to do. And then when they get in office, true color comes out in terms of where they stand and what they think. This nation that's indivisible, which is one, this nation that's under God, that has liberty and justice for all. We need to live up to our creed. We need to live up to it. Stop preaching about this great country if you're not doing anything to help it to be great, but you're doing things to destroy it. It won't be destroyed by nuclear ballistic missiles. We're going to be destroyed by our attitudes, insensitivity, disregard. And we can ill afford that luxury. So I say to you today, I love the United States. I say again, I am a great grandfather, a grandfather, a father, a husband. But where we are today is not where we should be. We can do better than this. We can. I ask anyone who's listening to me to share this with someone else and let them know that we can no longer tolerate the insensitivity. We can no longer tolerate having people who perpetuate the nonsense of racism, supremacy. We cannot. If you're a supremacist, whatever kind you are, there's no place for you in the United States to ride the high waves that you've been enjoying. We need to put a stop to it. We can do it. We can do it. It takes us. It takes us. If the United States is going to be better, we make it better because this is a government of the people. It's a government for the people. It's a government by the people. We are the United States of America. It matters not age, weight, height, color, education. We are the United States of America. And I thank God that I am. Let's help our children's children's children to be born into a nation that stands up for its creed and supports it. I need your help. You need mine. Together, we are better. Thank you for listening to me today, for I spoke out of my heart. I trust that what I said in communication would transfer into yours. Until again, God bless you.